Hello and welcome to the Nattercast for Game of Thrones episode 408 entitled The Mountain and the Viper. I am Jason Schenkel of Schenkel Studios and I am here as always with my small council. Say hello, small council.
Hello, small
Hello.
And
my name is Sion.
and I've been told that we've been very remiss in introducing people. We have Sion.
I'm Sion.
That's Sion. And Danielle. Say hello.
Hello, it's Danielle.
And Alan.
Hello.
And myself. And Molly and Shane are on...
And who's myself?
I am me, myself.
And do you have a name?
I am Jason Schenkel. I introduced myself at the beginning.
I just want to double check.
Of Schenkel Studios.
All right, then.
I can get Schenkel in there a few more times.
You getting dementia already there?
Absolutely.
Jason's stage name is Chevauché.
Chevauché.
Fuck you,
Oh, stepping on the lines, man. You're stepping on the lines. All the good stuff. So, Molly is, she's off dancing in Las Vegas.
She is actually running the stages and stuff.
Running the stages.
With a bunch of women who are scantily clad at the big international, national burlesque convention.
And for some reason, she's chosen to do this instead of be here with us.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I don't know why. Okay.
I also chose to do that, but they did not want me. So I am here.
I chose them. They did not choose me. Sadly.
This did not come as a shock to anyone.
No.
There's some cool women in it, too.
Yeah. So that's it. So we've all introduced ourselves. Sion, Danielle, Alan, and Jason are talking to you about The Mountain and the Viper. Okay, a little contact information before we get into the show. We are the Nattercast. You can reach us at www.nattercast.com, and you can send us feedback if you like at nattercast@gmail.com. Where the party really is for us, though, is on Facebook. We just got 1,000 likes on our Facebook page.
Woo!
Yeah.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
So woohoo! People are coming in. They're listening. We're getting the listenership is going up over the course of this show. Game of Thrones is always a big listener builder. it's like our big curve.
Right.
So if you come into Facebook and you search for Nattercast, you will find us there, and you can, if you can like the page and come and join the group, that'll be fantastic. We also have two groups dedicated, one to Game of Thrones called I Can't Stop Watching Game of Thrones, and another to True Detective called I Can't Stop Watching True Detective. And these are going to be our big shows for the year, and then we're going to do other random little casts as we go. And that's pretty much it. Oh, the only other big thing we got going on is YouTube. We have a YouTube page. Come on over to YouTube, search for Nattercast, subscribe. You don't have to listen, just subscribe. Just turn it on and leave your house. Doesn't matter. We just want to get a little bit of energy going there. And of course, if you're listening to us on iTunes or any other aggregator service, if you could give us a big thumbs up there and a like and a little, good review and everything like that, that's the best thing you can do, because those directories are really where we get most of our new listenership, that we don't go out in a club and drag off to the Dreadfort and throw in with the dogs. So, okay, so that's about it for the various intros. I think we can kind of just get directly into the recap on this one. So our first segment is Mr. Alan Green covering Sansa and Jon.
All right.
So take it away.
We start off the show at the very classy tavern and brothel.
Yes.
That Gilly has ended up in Molestown with a burping contest.
Molestown's like the Reno of the North.
She's
at Silver Legacy.
Yeah, it's got about the same. In fact, I think I've met that burping whore waitress once or twice.
She looked like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm beginning to wonder if the writers are just trolling us with the two-song thing.
Yeah, I think they have to be now.
I mean, I feel like that was an inside joke. So
yeah.
And then our burping waitress then leaves her table and walks over and has a little argument with Gilly about her crying baby and threatens her. And at that point, Gilly hears the hooting of owls that she recognizes as not hooting of owls, and we have our wildling attack, which is actually pretty fun.
Yeah.
They come in. We get to see quite a few people butchered. Actually, some really pretty shots, I thought.
Oh, it was really hot.
It was good to see Tormund again. I missed him.
I miss Egret.
Yep. She was great.
She was good.
Butchering people left and right. And
just no nonsense. Just got the job done.
Gets rid of the burping whore.
Yeah.
You know?
But chose not.
but chose not to kill a small infant. So she's got a bit of humanity left. I did really enjoy the shot where she does her little motion while there's like blood dripping down from the ceiling. I thought
that was
well
great
done.
with the floorboards.
Oh, yeah.
that was a great
awesome.
shot.
That reminded me a bit of the tracker in True Detective when he puts
Yeah.
the kid in the tub and it's like, shh, and, totally.
It reminds me of when the tub fell through the floorboards on Breaking Bad.
Everything reminds you of that.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
You've had breakfast that reminded you of that. You're like, oh yeah, Walter
To be
Jr.
fair, breakfast should remind you of Breaking Bad.
That's true.
That's true. We do have the Jason loves to go out for breakfast, so I'm always calling him Walter White Jr. And he gets like that kind of food too.
Yeah. I like my basic
Eggs, pancakes, and
my basic. I did not so much of pancakes lately.
Sometimes you mix it up with bacon.
The pancake cats.
But does he play with his bacon?
I prefer my pancakes with a little bit of chèvre on them. It makes it really nice. So
I'm gonna chèvre some pancakes right in your pants. I'm just gonna blend them in with one of those.
So
okay,
presumably after they're done with breakfast. No, we're making a joke about chèvre because one of the posters used that incredibly fantastic word.
Fantastic words.
We have 3 people went to major universities in this country. We had to look it up.
We had to look that up. So they used it wonderfully and correctly. Apparently, it's a type of raiding done from medieval times
And
to
some chaos, which is always a
inspire
good
chaos,
thing.
and I suppose to get people out of castles. I imagine since
I don't want to
attacking
spoil
a
it,
castle is very difficult.
I'm gonna change my name to
The
Sheva
listener in
Shea.
question is now getting all excited. When
I
are you going
know.
to read my stuff?
I know.
When are you going to read my stuff?
But at that point, actually, I have forgotten the actual definition of chèvre, so we'll be using it indiscriminately.
The problem is it inspired chaos on this cast.
It did.
We are shameless.
Anyway, after breakfast.
Shavo shaking?
We always get a little goofy after
Shavo Schenkel?
episode 6.
Yes. After breakfast, presumably, we find the Night's Watch boys all doing their little bit of deliberations. We've got Sam being a whiny little biatch because he's thinking that Gilly's dead, and it's hard to feel any pity for the fact that he thinks that, because that really, I mean, in a show full of bad decisions, Sam's decision to push Gilly to Molestown was quite possibly the single worst decision.
It was one.
I mean, not the worst repercussions, but like in the moment, the least defensible position, decision I have ever seen.
Yeah, it wasn't like it was a tough
I mean,
choice.
worse things have happened because of stuff, but it never made any sense to begin with. And now he's surprised that she might be dead because the wildlings, which he knew were coming from the south, came up and killed all the people.
I mean, we had a show where people's bad decisions have gotten their heads removed from their
started
bodies.
wars, killed hundreds of thousands of people.
But nothing was as bad as this one.
No, this one was just really dumb. So it's hard to feel bad for him. And then the rest of the Night's Watch brings our attention back to the fact
I mean,
that
even the infant knew it was a bad decision.
Yeah, seriously. The rest of the Night's Watch brings us back to the reminder that there are 100,000 men marching on the wall, which we will all see next episode.
Hooray.
Against 102 pretty poor soldiers on the Night's Watch side. So
this is the thing that I guess sometimes George Martin with his numbers, gets a little bit off. But I get that the wildlings are not very disciplined. But if you have an army of 100,000 people who all arrive at the same place at the same time, that's pretty disciplined. Mm-hmm. And so it's seeming like, because John was selling last year very strongly, you're going to be destroyed by siege engines and by modern, and by advanced warfare techniques and things like that. I'm not so sure, man. I'm not so sure Stannis shouldn't just hire these people.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of them, and they probably come cheap.
They come cheap and give them some land, and
it's like the whole Braveheart thing.
Yeah.
Arrows cost money. Send in the Irish.
Exactly.
So. Yeah, I mean, I think in reality, it's not really 100,000 fighting men.
Sure.
And you do have a 700-foot wall, so John's whole idea of like just blocking up all the entrances and being like, well, figure out how to get over it. Like, it's not the worst idea ever.
No. I mean, if they're going to spread out, though, and get just a couple of climbers up with ladders and this kind of thing, because once anybody has gotten up there, but if you block it all off, all the entrances, then literally every single person has to climb up there.
Yeah.
So, even with a ladder, that's 700
I mean, it's a
feet
really big
over
ladder.
ice.
I mean, they all had to mountain.
But the giants are not going to be able to
manage
that. The ice will fall apart on them.
No,
humans are too big. So, all right.
Anyway, that was just basically a long preview for next week.
Yes, totally.
The next place we went was the Vale, where we got actually 4 little small scenes. This was actually, despite the awesome fight at the end, this sequence was actually my favorite sequence of the entire show.
Yep.
So we start off with the Lords of the Vale having kind of sprung a surprise visit on Littlefinger to question him about the very mysterious suicide of Lisa Aaron.
Right.
And for good reason. And they come up and they kind of pin him back, and they obviously don't like him. They say they don't believe him.
Right.
And they've obviously caught him off guard. And he says, "Oh no, I have a witness, my natural born daughter or niece or whatever it is in the show, and she's rather simple. So, maybe you can talk to her later." And they've already pulled Sansa.
Right.
And she comes in and basically says she's going to tell the truth.
Right.
And she starts telling the truth that she's actually Sansa Stark, and she starts talking about why that Littlefinger did do some things wrong, but he did it all to protect her, and he was the only friend she ever had in King's Landing. A very believable story where she's told a lot of truths about how awful her life was in King's Landing. And then they ask her to talk about what happened when Lisa Aaron jumped through the moon door.
There you go.
That was a great scene.
So, audio on that? I think we have it.
My aunt was a jealous lady. She was terrified that Lord Baelish didn't love her anymore, that he would abandon her for a younger woman. And then, one day, she saw him kiss me.
Lady Sansa.
It was a peck on the cheek, Lord Royce, nothing more. Lord Baelish is my uncle now, in truth, by marriage. He's always been so kind to me. I was so happy to be here, to be free, all because of him. But my aunt turned on me. She cursed me, called me a whore, promised to throw me through the moon door. When Lord Baelish tried to calm her, she struck him. She said she didn't want to live anymore. She stood on the edge of that moon door. He tried to reason with her, promised her she was the only one he had ever loved. But she stepped through those doors and she was...
It's one of her aunts there apparently got a puncture. I like this, how much they're giving Sansa. It's like Arya's got to get her murder on, Sansa's got to get her lion on.
Yeah.
To survive.
They gave Sophie Turner some meat. I thought she was really good.
Oh, I thought she did a
was
fantastic job.
Yeah, she's getting better and better.
Right
That's
at the end there,
amazing.
and she's looking over. It's Lady Anya Wainwood, though I don't know how anyone would know that.
Yeah, they didn't introduce those people. to us.
Well, except for Bronze Royce, or one of the Royces.
Who had sent his kid off to the wall.
Right, who actually is the pretentious, annoying noble who is leading the ranging from the prologue. The first person to get beheaded, actually, is
Choppy.
is Waymar Royce, was his son.
Right.
So there's a little tie there. But I love the look that Sansa gives Littlefinger back there at the end there, just sort of this, dead,
So, what was Littlefinger's plan?
I think he got caught a little off guard.
Because he throws her out the moon gate. Right.
Yeah.
And from there, and it's I don't want to go too much into it, but it's different in the book. He has someone to frame in the book.
He does, but it's still pretty on the fly.
It's kind of on the fly. I like this construction better because better Sansa than some Vale person who you want to pull out of a kitchen and say it's this guy, But it just seemed to me like as he's pushing her, he's like, I need an alibi. I need to know that Sansa's not going to, accuse me of this crime, right? Or I'm dead. So he took a pretty strong risk that she would do this.
That she would go along with it.
Yeah.
And she followed through.
Much
better than his pretty terrible lie.
Yes, I like that she also combed out a bunch of lies. It's like, okay, I can tell them who I am. I can, it's like everything here is true up to the exact physical act.
Right, right. We're going to have one lie.
Yeah, one lie.
Just going to run it through.
You've got one job, just one lie.
After that, Littlefinger collects his apologies from the Lords Declarant there, and then convinces them that he needs to send Robin Arryn out into Across the Vale, because it's time that Robin becomes a man one way or another.
Brave, brave Sir Robin.
Right. I mean, this is somewhat of a brilliant move.
Yes.
Love any Monty Python reference. I think somewhat of a brilliant move, because if the kid ends up stop being a wuss and actually lives through the experience, then he's gonna thank Peter. And if he doesn't, oh well.
Right.
You know.
Well, it's something that the Bald Move was talking about was the Unsullied, and what the medical situation is there. And apparently one of the items in the book is that, a lot of them actually do die from the castration, and that they think it's like that. It's like, well, then that's one that we didn't have to train who's weaker than the others.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like there's any sentimental value here for Littlefinger, so
Right.
It works out pretty well for him. And then, the next really intriguing scene in the Vale is Littlefinger comes in to basically ask Sansa what we were all wanting to ask Sansa, which I'm super thankful to the showrunners for actually having the question answered, which was, why the hell, did you lie for me?
Yeah. Let's see here.
Man, I thought that was oh goody.
Why did you help me?
They would have thrown you through the moon door if they found you guilty.
That's not an answer.
They'd have executed you. What would they have done with me?
I don't know.
Neither do I.
Better to gamble on the man you know than the strangers you don't. And you think you know me?
I know what you want.
Do you?
Yes, we all do.
Yeah, we
Littlefinger.
do.
Like, seriously, it's not hard.
That's a beautiful shot, though, by the way, of Sansa, just the lighting.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, it looked like a
Mhm.
painting. Yeah.
So, what would you guys have lied for?
For Littlefinger? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the right move. I totally
Yeah.
would. Littlefinger is a man in the pocket here, and he's demonstrated that he can play the game really well. And so the only question is, I would turn Littlefinger in if I if I knew the Tullys really well, if they were, if I had spent a lot of time with my aunt and her brothers or whoever else is up here. But if it's just my mom's relatives who she never talked about,
Your mom's
Right.
crazy aunt?
yeah, I'd like the guy who can get himself a ship and can, get people poisoned and sneak me out. and who's
Those are really the key things I look for in life. If you can get me a ship and if you can poison people, I am your friend.
Well, and she's sexually manipulating him too. She's like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. It's like, you're hot for my mom. Okay, cool. So let's just.
But she did just hear him service her aunt.
That's No, you don't. There's some things you can't unhear.
Yes.
What about you, Sion?
Personally, I thought her performance and her storyline was the most interesting in this episode.
Yeah.
It's the most interesting of her whole.
And of
Character.
her and her whole character arc, yeah. I mean, we really saw her change, and I thought the actress is acting is I mean, she had to do more nuanced acting, less simpering, and she really rose to it.
Yeah.
Plus, the outfits were awesome.
I like the Maleficent.
Yeah.
Yes.
When she comes down the stairs in the next scene.
Oh,
I was
Sorry,
calling
she
her.
comes down the chevauchée.
The shape
Let's
of
go,
Shade.
I was calling her Lady Crow too.
Lady Crow.
But it also is kind of a throwback too to the Hound calling her little bird.
Yes.
Right.
'Cause
Little
she's
bird
all
is turned
grown
into
up.
a deadly bird.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, she was bringing it coming down the stairs.
Yeah.
I know. I was just like, oh,
Working the
man,
cleavage and
Yeah. Well,
I want that dress.
She's sitting there just sewing away at that thing. This is my Maleficent cosplay costume.
I'm gonna win.
I'm going to South by Southwest. I'm going to totally win.
Yep.
But I won't be able to fit in the elevator. Because of the wings. Enough. Okay, so yeah, then our...
Yeah, the only other thing in that scene, too, was the little, speech that Littlefinger gives Robin Arryn of taking control of your life was nicely overlaid with Sansa coming down and basically being like, smack, you're going to do everything I say now, Littlefinger, because I've got this dress.
Yeah, that dress was pretty awesome. Pretty back in black there. All right, so I guess we move on then to Miss Danielle. Oh, before we do that, let's get some listener feedback. So, Mr. Shane Bowman pointed out that one of our listeners, is it Pat? Honey?
Oh, yes. Pat Sponagle.
Apparently was quite the celebrity on Cast of Kings. And
Yes.
we like to promote other casts as well as our own
Yes.
cast because we are the people's cast here.
Yes.
And so when we have a celebrity, we read more of your feedback.
Yes.
Yes.
We're going to read a whole page.
Because that's what people's casts do.
That's what the people's cast do, yes.
We cater to the elite.
They cater to the elite.
Yes.
People.
I'm going
who
to
are people too.
chevauche the shit out of this. Okay, Pat Sponagle. Okay, here are my thoughts. Overall, liked the episode, but it wasn't my favorite since I felt that there was a lot of unevenness in the scenes. I thought the attack on Molestown was well done, as did we, sir.
Yes.
But it seemed off that the inhabitants of Molestown hadn't been informed that there was a wilding chevauche going on. Since some crows had snuck out for Saturday. you are so red.
I love the word.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
We're going to be using it too much.
And totally
Yeah,
incorrectly.
Jason.
I think Pat won himself a sachet yesterday for that one.
Oh, Pat.
You can't pick your partners and you can't pick your chevauche.
Since some crows had snuck out for Saturday fun time, you would think they could tell people. I'm fine with the stuff going on over in Danny's side of the pond. Now, I got to tell you guys, so I'm reading this, and this is just like a sentence by itself. Like, I'm fine with the Danny stuff across the pond.
We're done.
We're moving on.
It has been approved. Stamp.
Approved. We're moving on.
Yeah, whatever. It's fine. It's not bugging me. I don't think Arya was having a maniacal laugh. I thought she was laughing a part of her crappy luck, but also at the Hound and how all his plans were going awry, too.
Yeah.
If her laugh sounded like she was having serious humor, I agree. I'd find it funny, too. I thought it made a lot of sense.
Well, he had just got done saying, well, we won't have to walk
Right.
much further.
Yes.
And, they take her to River Run, and Hoster dies, and then her brother dies, and her mother dies, and every
Yes.
time they get there, it is pretty funny.
I definitely think she was having literally every one of my relatives' houses I go to, I find out that people were just murdered there.
And
I would laugh
the
like
Hound
that, too.
ain't never going to get paid. Never going to get paid.
or get rid of me.
He's never going to get rid of me, never going to get
This
paid.
is never going to end.
If I was Hound, I would drop her off here. I'd say, she's your problem.
Yeah,
now.
I'd be like, this is
I'm
not
willing
worth
to
it.
go for
I'm
free.
out.
This one's on me.
The stuff with Sansa and Littlefinger up in the Erie
Eerie.
was okay, I guess. TV Littlefinger just doesn't seem as smart as book Littlefinger. And we've seen this before, with provoking Cersei into nearly killing him in season 2, to really fumbling things with Catelyn next to Ned's bones.
I thought that was a baller move. I mean, here's the reality. You get a woman while delivering her husband's bones. Like, you get to hold that over every man ever.
Bone
Yeah,
you
most of the
over his
time.
bones.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if you want to be crass about it, Danielle.
We also had the brother and the sister boning over their dead boned kid.
Yeah, you're right. It's like a tradition.
It's,
Yeah.
it's Winter's Bone.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Which is a good movie,
Which is a
by
good
the way.
movie.
It's an excellent
Has
movie.
nothing to do with this, and it's an awesome movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are 3 or 4 chevauchés in it, though.
And a Chevy. I think those are Chevys.
The Theon stuff was fine. Really?
It was fine.
I don't think Theon thinks so.
Theon
really.
continues to not think it was fine.
But Moat Kaelin was my only cat moment, where I wanted something in particular. In this case, the visual of MC and the logics of the Ironborn dealing with the MC, like the motorcycle club. All of a sudden, I thought it was in the SOA cast.
Yes.
Man, I am.
Sam Crow is over at Moat Kaelin.
I thought he was referring to a DJ.
Yes.
The visual of MC, the DJ? Okay, and the logic was Mo Kaelin. It's Moat
Kaelin,
Kaelin.
yeah,
That's who he's referring to. The logistics of the Ironborn dealing with the Cranog
The Kranich men.
Krenigman.
Yes.
who live in the swamp, attacking them by ambush and guerrilla warfare. Not chevauché, it's guerrilla.
Gorilla.
Well, it's slightly different. There's no attacking civilians to create chaos here. So
Yes.
learn the word, Sion.
Well, there's guerrilla.
Gorilla plus terrorism. Is chevauché.
For that to work, Moat Kaelin needed to be in a swampy forest.
Yeah.
That's,
Also, it needed some Kranich men.
and I also miss the specific 3 towers, which always struck me visually. Is that a book thing?
It is. All that's a book thing. So the Krennic men are actually, and this is no spoiler, but it's Mira and Jojen, our two little, like, the seer brother and sister that are off with Bran. It's their people. And
Right.
their dad is basically the lord of the Krennic men.
Gotcha.
Right.
But they're small people that, like, run around in swamps and, like, blow dart people.
And,
Right.
So they're kind of fun.
hunt frogs.
They're
and
pretty
stuff.
serious.
They're a lot of fun. So yeah, when Theon goes there in the book, he's like dodging blow darts and like people are like getting picked off left and right, and they're all like dying.
Well,
of
his dick's
disease
not in the
and-
way.
Well, yeah. That's normally where you get shot. And that's a little known fact
Just
from
shoot
warfare.
right
If
under,
I'm
under the
aiming,
pants.
87% of men
just take
get
out
shot
the
in
dick
penis.
and you're fine.
Yes.
And then you don't have a murder.
I kind of hoping like Theon meets Grey Worm, and he's like, "You are unsullied." And it's like, "Well, no, I had actually been sullied a little bit before that." It's like, "Well, what's the point of that?" Seems like an awful lot of pain to go through to stay sullied.
Now, is it you're unsullied once your sullied's cut off?
No, I mean you're unsullied.
You're no longer
virginal.
sullied?
I imagine
I'm
it meant
teasing.
virginal. Right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
So
And don't forget Varys. I mean, they can have
I wonder if they have purity balls.
purity balls, like
the
the
Unsullieds.
nudicles.
They go to dance with themselves.
Dornish nudicles are the finest nudicles in all of Easteros.
They wear little white dresses.
All right. We are never going to
This
do
is
never-
all
we're
Shay
never getting
Lachey's
out
fault.
Yeah, this is your fault, Pat, for getting us going.
Ah, man. This is-
Pat's the best.
Yes.
He's just killing it, though. Everyone blame Pat.
Yep.
Not us.
Too provocative.
It
are
couldn't
not respo-
possibly be our own
Yeah,
fault.
it can't be us.
We're not responsible.
He
Yes.
poked the bear.
Okay. I really like the Beetle talk. I guess because it followed Tyrion wondering what the gods must be like to demand someone to die to have their will be known. Tyrion saying that the gods are like Orson Lannister, and he might be a beetle.
Yeah.
I felt that the fight between the Viper and the Mountain was really well done, though the spear work and the acrobatics were really engaging. I thought it was just a little Princess Bride.
It was a little more Darth Maul.
I
Princess
wish
Bride.
I had
Fighting.
gotten a video of my son watching it because he came into my room just before it came on, and he's like, "I need to watch it," and then he's like, and it was like, "Oh no, he isn't going to. He's gonna get up. He's gonna get up and get him." He did it. I wish I had gotten a true reaction.
He just totally
Oh my god,
blow by blow.
Yes, he saw everything coming, but was just totally engrossed, engaged.
Oh, that's great.
Man.
Okay, the Red Viper was just the best character, and he only appeared in a little over one half of the book of 3. I'm really glad the show did a great job portraying him as a
Yeah.
character to get behind. Yes, every woman who has ever thought a man was cute agrees with you.
Or man.
Yeah, oh man,
Yeah,
that was
everyone.
that was a ridiculous character and actor combo.
Yeah, yeah.
That was unfair.
All right, Pat's been up.
Thank you, Pat. We love you.
Pat, we love you. Okay, so now we move on to Miss Danielle for Theon and Danny.
Alrighty. So we first let me start out with Marine.
All right.
So when we first see Miss Sande, she's bathing in the whatever it is, river, whatever it is. Yeah.
In the
She's bathing.
washatorium.
Yep.
Yes.
She's bathing and they're doing their laundry and whatever. And we all do our laundry in the nude, you know.
Of course.
Of course.
Well, when you only have one set.
We only have one set of clothes.
True.
You kinda
You
have-
do your laundry.
True. This is true.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I saw somebody call her baby Scary Spice.
Baby scary spice.
Let's not disrespect Miss Sunday. That's
No, I do buy into the baby Barack Obama, so I think it's funny.
That's like-
but I will not repeat it to annoy the
As long as you're
listeners. I'll
going
just say it
Game of
once.
Thrones. You have to be
Yep.
going Game of Thrones about it. Then you're
I'll say it once.
yeah, under the banner.
So we catch him spying on her bathing, and let's face it, anybody spying her, gay, straight, doesn't
She's-
matter.
even if you don't have genitals.
I'm telling you.
I mean, if he was going to pick one person to be like, oh yeah, I'm.
Yeah, you could grow it back, baby.
Yep.
Over that.
Yep.
Send Theon down here for some treatment.
Wait a minute. If he's Grey Worm, does it grow back when it's chopped off?
No, I think it just has a life of its own.
No, it
and
grows. It
becomes
grows
its
a
own
whole
thing.
guy out of it.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Goes
There we
running
go.
off.
Okay, so that whole scene happens, and it was a beautiful scene. I thought.
Yeah, yeah.
It was well shot. And then we next see Missandei in the throne room, and or Dany's throne room, and Grey Worm comes in to apologize for seeing her, and she. I missed a scene. So between that, I missed a scene. I'm sorry.
No worries.
So I missed the scene between Dany and Missandei, and it was interesting seeing Dany braiding her hair.
Right.
You know, because she would normally be doing for Dany. So,
Right.
and it also kind of showed Dany's naivete, and you know, like, well, they don't have parts, so they're not going to want us, and why
Right.
would they look at us? And they have no interest in us. And
And then you remember that she's 15.
yes,
At this point, you know. Yeah.
that's where it's a good reminder
Yeah,
of just how young she is and
Yeah.
how naive she is.
So I actually have a question.
Sure.
I've not actually seen. I've seen a lot of arguing about it, but I'm curious if anyone here knows. Putting aside any non-sexual but still romantic feelings that someone may have, given the possible scenarios, you know, no block and tackle, no tackle, whatever it is.
Right.
Is it actually possible for someone who's been castrated to have sexual feelings?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I have no idea.
So, from what I understand, and then also like in
He went and did some research last
No,
night.
I didn't do it. The Aaron did. So I'm,
Oh, okay.
I'm pirating on Aaron's
I didn't
research.
bother researting because I figured
talked to a
Jason and
nurse.
Tion would have interesting stuff.
talked
We
to a
just
nurse.
wrote it
Jason
down
would know off the top
their
of
heads.
his head.
Exactly.
No. So what did it? I mean, no. If you're castrated and you take hormone replacement therapy, you're fine, more or less. I mean, you can have.
So they probably don't have hormones.
They probably don't have hormone replacement therapy. And according to the people that Aaron over at Bald Move talked to, or who it was a nurse, I believe, or nurse practitioner, is that a good deal of testosterone is produced by the adrenal gland. So if you were training for combat and that a big part of being the
would
Unsullied is
boost.
that it's not that you're not going to go sacking women. That's a big part of it. But the other part is that you're under a lot of emotional control because you're not getting that burst of adrenaline,
Right.
testosterone that comes from adrenaline. And so someone who spent their entire life in who is a castrated, who spent their entire life in intense physical training and was in exceptional shape would get a good deal of testosterone from their adrenal gland. Not enough to give you like a fully sexual experience, and also you lack the equipment for it. But that you would still have some romantic feelings for whichever gender you're attracted
right.
to, and
Interesting
masculinity.
to know.
And we see that Grey Worm he's cut in the upper arms. He's
yeah.
a masculine looking guy. So it wouldn't be outside the veil completely. But
And people still crave companionship.
Oh yeah,
warmth.
no, I get that.
You
That
know,
too.
and they did say in the books that the Unsullied would go and lay with prostitutes and basically have the girlfriend experience without the
Right.
sexual element. And you know,
It can still be pretty sexual. You can do some pretty wild
And you
shit.
saw
Right,
that
right.
in Born on the 4th of July, right?
Yeah.
Tom Cruise and the other guys are all paralyzed, which is essentially the same thing in a lot of ways, except for you're getting your testosterone.
Right.
That's still functioning.
plus if somebody was paralyzed after they'd already had a sex life, they'd probably have a different
Right, but they
experience
couldn't.
than somebody.
They didn't have a sex
Yeah.
life that was normal, but they would going down and just lying with prostitutes, essentially, just because you want that physical connection. Sure.
And there's always the Lord's kiss.
Yeah, there's always Lord's kiss, and I think a big what I really liked about this was I think it also kind of answers some of the criticism from last year. It's like here we have, and it's outside of Martin's text. We have two black characters talking to each other about themselves and not about a white character. So we have a little Bechdel test, black character Bechdel test thing here, and it's not just to be PC. It's that we're seeing the people in Dany's life who she's presuming to lead, choosing for themselves now a little bit
Right.
who they are, which is what she wants them to do.
Well, they're trying to make a life. They're in Marine.
Right.
They're settling.
Yeah.
It's also another look at how out of touch Dany is with her people. She has 8,000 Unsullied,
Right.
yet she doesn't really know anything about them personally.
Right.
They're just machines.
They're just machines to her, right?
Yeah.
So
She doesn't expect them to have
well, great.
true feelings.
That's some pretty damning.
Well, if you think about it, I mean, come on.
Well, unless Grey Worm is like
She has blanket assumptions about what people
Yeah.
are.
Well, I mean, she wasn't like Grey Worm isn't a person. She was just like, I mean,
right.
But
I didn't
doesn't
think
have
he could
human
do that.
needs.
Yeah, but I didn't know that. I mean, I didn't
Yeah.
know if it was that kind of urge is biologically triggered, right?
Yeah,
like I could understand that he would want to have a relationship for other emotional, mental needs,
Right.
but I think it's a forgivable mistake since I made it myself. That hey.
But yeah. So like, especially if you're working out a lot, you'll get a little bit, but it'll be like, it's not going to be like you're in the 8th grade or something. The muted response.
All right, and
so
then
more.
we jump back into the Grey Worm and Missandei scene, and he's apologizing, and then she asks him questions about when he was cut and what he remembers, and apologizes to him for him losing his appendages. And I really liked the way he said it. That if they never cut him, then he would have never, been Unsullied. He would have never led the Unsullied. He never would have met Dany. He never would have met Missandei.
And I think that's an answer to Tyrion's puzzle about the beetles. It's like, why is there all of this chaos? Why is there all of the he said before? Why are the gods such cunts? Where are the gods of tits and wine? Why is everything such a misery? And I think that part of the answer is because enduring misery puts you in a place where you might have things that are worth going through the misery for. And I think that Grey Worm has found himself there.
Right.
And certainly Grey Worm so far has had a little less pleasant life than Tyrion has.
Yeah, well, I mean, this part of Grey Worm's life is...
This part's getting better. Right now, currently, he's
Tyrion's heading towards rock bottom right now. Grey Worm's like, this is the life.
Right.
Like, I'm in charge. It started, the bottom when they cut stuff off and made me like... I mean, the training, they didn't really go over it much in the show, but the training in his book is like, they like... make them kill a newborn child and
we were worried
raise
last
a
year.
puppy and strangle it to death and good lord, everything after that he's going to be waking up and being like, ooh, sunshine,
no puppies to kill today. Yeah, exactly.
This chevauché is delicious.
So all right.
Alrighty, and so then, he says he's sorry for looking. She says she's glad he saw, and he said, so am I. So that definitely leaves more to come.
Bow, chicka,
Bow chicka bow wow.
Bow chicka bama. Then as they flash to the next scene, we see the Unsullied are still hauling off the dead masters from where they've been on their posts for how long?
Yeah. Apparently the Unsullied are pretty comfortable with the whole turning on your masters thing.
Right.
Like nobody's ever thought of this before.
Right.
like crap.
And then the child messenger shows up with the scroll for Sir Barristan Selmy. Now, I've listened to a lot of podcasts. I've read a lot of stuff. Nobody seems to point out the part that it was delivered to Selmy. Everybody's like, well, did it really take that long to get there? And was it forwarded from here and there and whatever? It was addressed to Selmy. It was supposed to be put in Selmy's hands to start shit.
Yeah.
Right.
No, and it came from Tywin.
Oh, it definitely came from Tywin, but
Yeah.
but people had never really mentioned that. It's like, why did it take so long to get to Jorah?
Because who are you going to send it
and
to?
da-da-da-da.
Because there's no FedEx.
The only people you could send it to are Barristan and Dany, right?
Or Jorah.
Well, send it to Jorah. There's no point in that.
Jorah's
He'll
just
hide
gonna
it.
pocket it.
He'll pocket it.
But I'm saying, if this is his reward for doing the work, it should go to
Oh
him.
no! This is Tywin's.
But I'm
son.
saying,
Yeah,
this
so
is,
it's
people didn't seem to
Yeah, I see what
pick
you're
up
saying.
on the fact that, they're just like, why did it take so long? And why did it come then? And when was it really signed?
It was designed to take this
that
much
crap.
time and
Yep,
to
yep.
all that stuff, right?
And then, and then I have a clip.
Sir Barristan, Sir Jorah. Have I forgotten a council meeting?
No.
What's this?
A royal pardon. Signed by Robert Baratheon. You spied on her.
Who gave you this?
Does it matter?
Have you told her?
I wanted to tell you first, man to man. Rather than go behind your back.
Let me speak with her in private.
You'll never be alone with her again.
Selmy always has the best ADR. The best post-recorded dialogue.
Yeah.
While you're watching him, he's just like really rich and thick and right there. And he could be like
yeah.
across a room full of seagulls.
I mean, seriously, they managed to grab the like two like older male distinguished looking actors with the best voices.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, there's a lot of whisper acting, like Littlefinger.
Littlefinger has his own accent.
But these guys
He's
working
irritating.
these guys are just like natural. You know, speaking of accents, this is completely off topic, but you realize that Pedro Pascal's accent is completely made up.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
totally.
When you hear him talk, it's just like
He's a
dude from,
Chilean
like,
descent,
LA.
but
Yeah.
raised in the States.
I know,
No
but he-
one fucking cares.
No.
But it's like completely manufactured.
No one fucking cares.
He's a fraud, Sion.
The wet panties from the accent are not manufactured.
I believe the French word for those is chevauché.
We don't even care about the accent.
Alan's working on his second beer. He's becoming provocative.
I just wanted to throw that out. I didn't realize it was a fake accent
Yep.
until I watched an interview.
So anyway, I really thought the
fraud.
crux of this was that you'll never be with her alone again.
Right.
And just that feeling of just like, oh, I've lost Danny forever. He's already lost her physically to, what's his fuck?
Dario
Naharis.
Dario 2.0.
Yeah, I actually really couldn't stand the first Dario. This one is just blah to me.
This one's kind of blah.
He's nothing to write home about, but I'm not like really pissed off about him either.
I thought the first Dario at least had character. It kind of like was, but he's off-putting and bizarre too.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
But he's kind of supposed to be off-putting and bizarre. This is, you know.
The long blonde Danny hair and the Arnie mouth and
I'm just
I don't
reading
know.
these parts of the book where she's sleeping with Dario, and it's like, really?
Yep.
Yeah,
But I
that
think
was your line. Right?
Yeah.
You were like, really, Danny?
Yep.
That's the reaction I think it was supposed to trigger.
He's literally a Bluebeard.
Yes.
Literally.
You know that was just a name, right?
Exactly. You don't have to dye yourself blue. All right.
So then Jorah has to go and slither into Dany's throne room, and Dany is just sitting so perfectly erect on her little throne, or her little settee, or whatever it is, and
Little Christina Aguilera.
he just so has his tail between his legs.
Yeah.
And he immediately starts deflecting. Oh, this is, Tywin starting that. And it's like, but did you do it?
Right.
Yes, she's friend zoned him and stuff, but he is her most trusted advisor. She has the most faith in him than anyone.
Right.
Or has had for how long.
I was super disappointed by this scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one, because I just think the whole Dany Jorah dynamic fizzled out a long time ago. They kind of let it die.
Right.
Yeah.
And two, I mean, in the moment of the scene, I really would have liked to have seen him fight a little bit harder.
Right.
Just because, honestly, yeah, he spied on her, like, early on. And then, he changed his mind and he stopped. Like, yes, he should have told her.
He should have disclosed.
But the fact that he never even made that, like, she might have still exiled him. Fine.
Right.
Whatever. You can argue about it.
She
But,
didn't
like,
kill
that
her.
wasn't even his argument. His arguments were terrible. Like,
Right.
really, Jorah, come up with something good, which was, look, I stopped. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't know who you were. I didn't know you at all.
Right.
Like,
And that's more
you
how
act
the-
like I should have trusted you and worshipped you from day one, but that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
But he should have told her.
But that's how the book version was more too, though. It was, she's incredibly hurt, but wants to know when he stopped.
Right.
And that he continued through Karth is the thing that hurts her the most.
Right.
That he continued doing it for so long.
Right.
And I've heard a lot of talk about the baby part, about her being, and they're like, what about that? And it's because she became more of a threat when she has a lineage to come after the throne.
Right.
We have another clip of that too.
Okay.
You told them I was carrying Drago's child?
Aye.
Yes or no?
Khaleesi.
Don't call me that. Did you tell them I was carrying Drago's child?
Yes.
That wine merchant tried to poison me because of your information.
I stopped you from drinking his wine.
Because you knew it was poisoned.
yes.
I suspected.
You betrayed me.
See, her whole eye line during this whole section
It was really weird.
She looked like she was pretending to be blind.
Another man.
Yeah. In one shot, and then another she's making
You
eye contact.
sold
Yeah.
my secrets to the man who killed my father
I have
and stole
protected
my
you,
brother's throne.
fought
You
for you,
want me to
killed for
forgive
you.
you.
I have loved you.
Love. Love? How can you say that to me? Any other man now would have you executed, but you, I do not want you in my city, dead or alive. Go back to your masters in King's Landing. Collect your pardon, if you can.
Laris, please.
Don't ever presume to touch me again or speak my name. You have until dusk to collect your things and leave this city. If you're found in Marine past break of day, I'll have your head thrown into Slaver's Bay.
She definitely sounded like a Targaryen there.
Now.
I do like that element of her character, which is that she comes from a family of crazy people, right? And fanatics who will burn a whole city because
And crazy people who could. Like, who always got their own way.
who always got their own way, and and so seeing those elements in her character, even though I don't think they're as virulent as her ancestors, or your immediate ancestors, but you see it rising up. It's like this is how the Mad King gets as far as he did. Yeah. So I'm wondering if someone's going to Queenslayer.
Mad King / her father. Yep.
Yeah. Was the Mad King her father?
Yes.
Mad King was her father.
Her father.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
And then Rhaegar was her older brother.
Right. Rhaegar's her brother. Okay. Cool.
Alrighty, so should we go into the Boltons?
Yes, please. A bag of Boltons.
Yep, so we start off with Ramsay's last pep talk with Reek before his Theon performance, and we have a clip.
Okay, let's see where we have a clip of that. I'm sure we do. If I can find it. Here we go.
Kraken. Strong. As long as they're in the sea. When you take them out of the water, no bones. They collapse under their proud weight and slump into a heap of nothing. You'd think they'd know that. Unfortunately, they're not very bright. What do you tell them?
I'm Theon Greyjoy, son of Balon, heir to the Iron Islands.
And what are you really?
I'm Reek.
Are you sure? You do look very much like a lord. Formidable, proud.
I'm Reek.
Until when?
Always. Forever.
That's right. Until you're rotting in the ground. Remember what you are and what you're not. Bring me Moat Cailin.
I'm really starting to think of Theon as Reek.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm actually, it's one of these things where it's like, you hate Theon when he's Theon the Stupid, and then you feel something for Reek, but you're still realizing it's Theon.
It's Theon that's stupid.
But the performance here is really good. I mean, I'm buying Theon completely, and like layers of fear and paranoia, and I buy at this point that it's not that he's afraid of what'll happen; it's that he wants to be Reek. Right? He's been broken like a dog.
Right.
And it's coming across. I'm more pleased with it now than when he was just up on the rack being sliced up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Alrighty, and then we see Theon treat with the Ironborn, and he speaks to Kinning, the commander of the garrison.
This was pretty great.
And he's asking him questions like, if you're my prince, then why are you marching with the Bolton army? And he says Bolton took him captive. And he's going on and saying, Bolton will be just as fair with you as he was with me if you surrender and get escorted back to the sea. And he's being very anti-Ironborn.
Yes, there's no shame in it, my father. Well, so...
Anti-Ironborn take what they want.
Yes.
Well, he has a point about his dad,
His
though.
dad did bend the knee.
His dad bent the knee. He didn't fight until he was dead.
Right.
Yeah.
Was.
It doesn't say we fight until we're dead. It says we do not sow. Surrendering is not sowing.
As long as I don't plant shit.
As long as
I'm
you don't
good.
plant anything, we're fine. Okay, so let's see what we got here.
That's just a really weird ethos.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
No shame. fought with honor. Only a whipped dog would speak this way. Or a woman. Are you a woman, boy?
Kind of.
You don't know.
The Ironborn will not surrender.
How do you know this?
You go tell your master that. Theon Greyjoy, or whoever the fuck you are. What in hell are you muttering?
The guy gets spiked in the head in case you want to listen to the show without having seen the program. Awesome.
Very awesome.
Spiked ahead.
Very reminiscent
We
of
yield,
Theon
we
getting
live.
Yeah.
whacked.
Is that what it says on this paper
Yeah.
here? Yes. Have your men raised the white flag and opened the gates? You're going home.
Yeah. In the larger metaphysical sense,
Yep.
perhaps.
Reek seems to act like he believes that, too.
Yeah.
So then we see Ramsay gloating after flaying the Ironborn.
I like how we smash cut to this. There isn't a big,
Right.
long, drawn out Moat Kalen, betrayal scene.
It's
Just
like
After all
same
the-
dude flayed.
After
Flayed.
all the Theon torture, we didn't need all that. Like, look,
Right.
this is what they did.
This is what they
Okay,
did, yeah.
got it, good, move on.
By the way, the audition for that role must be awesome. You have like 2 lines. You hit a guy over the head with a spike, and then we probably have a day of shooting you where your skin's off.
Yes.
Yep.
Was that him or was it a model?
Well, I
think it
don't
was
know.
a
I
model.
think maybe
I
they
think it
did
was a
something
model
to
because it
his
didn't look
face.
like
I
it
think it
had
was
that layered on
Yeah.
Nicotero look. It was.
It definitely looked like him up here, though. So they probably did something with.
Well, they
the
probably
costume
did molds of his head.
or something.
They, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think the whole thing was a
Yeah. I think it
mannequin.
was.
Because then you don't have to move. You don't have to be still.
I'm kind of disappointed in that because I feel like Game of Thrones at this point has gotten large enough that they could actually
flay a man
like a day rate actor.
Yeah, sure,
Like,
why not?
Sure,
They
yeah.
could probably. I mean, honestly,
Or someone out of craft service.
I kind of
Reminder not to be an extra on any of Alan's films, because you never know what might happen to you.
Listen,
People can serve themselves crackers. We don't need this guy. Let's
it's
get
all
him.
in
I
the
don't
name
think
of art.
I don't think there's anything wrong with, like, say, a producer writer being sacrificed.
Hey, checkbook.
And then Ramsay meets up with Roose Bolton to hand over the flag for Moat Kalen and present.
I actually think this
to
was my
him.
favorite scene.
It was a good scene.
Yeah.
And
Really?
then we have yet another clip.
Yes, that was good.
Entire episode.
What-
This was
what
your
scene?
favorite scene.
I got to see the clip.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're going to play it right now.
I know.
Yeah.
Kind of messed up father relationship to you have.
Now tell me, what is your name?
Ramsay Snow.
No, not Ramsay Snow. Open it. From this day until your last day, you are Ramsay Bolton, son of Roose Bolton, Warden of the North.
You honor me. I swear I will uphold your name and your tradition. I will be worthy of you, Father. I promise.
Okay. Let me defend myself here.
Yeah.
Just a little-
I think I'm going to require an explanation.
So what I like about
too.
this is I was noticing the parallels between Ramsay and Theon, where they both want the approval of a father who rejected them.
Right.
But Ramsay's father rejected him according to the law, right? Not it was nothing personal or anything else like that, or not out of disgust. And he actually, Roose seems to like Ramsay to a certain degree, right? And Roose legitimizes him, goes to the king, gets him legitimized, which evidently costs something, to do.
Just a little murder at a wedding.
Whatever, a little murder at a wedding, whatever.
Yep.
Send your regards. So what I kind of liked about this scene, because obviously the Boltons are psycho, sadistic, torturing fuckheads. I'm not saying that they're not, but what I'm saying is like here we also had this. When we think about Tyrion's relationship to Tywin, right? And give me Casterly Rock, and it's like I'll be burned in the seven hells before you'll get Casterly Rock. So here we've had all these other more, allegedly more reasonable fathers and sons who had much worse relationship, and here we've had a bastard earn his way up. We've never seen a son on this show do this well, in this thing, and it's with these particularly noxious characters.
The family that tortures together.
Right, and so, and then also because of the what I liked about this scene, I think was the other element that really appealed to me was the hill that they're on, and the CG they did and the layout, and this whole Braveheart hilltop, I will honor your thing or whatever. It really kind of brought home this whole feudal father to son thing can really be based in some pretty diseased people. Diseased people are doing it well, and the allegedly elite and noble are really screwing it up. I thought that was an interesting idea. That's it.
And I kind of zeroed in on Ramsay saying, "I'll uphold your name and your tradition," singular, which means flaying.
Yeah. So we have other traditions, lad.
We really don't do Thanksgiving or Christmas, but we flay.
We sing the Rains of Castamere once a week.
But it shows why Ramsay has to prove he's the biggest, baddest, most prolific flayer in the North.
He's got flaying and flaying.
He's trying to, prove that he's worthy
of being a
flay.
Bolton.
He's going to chevauché his way all the way through the Riverlands.
I enjoy that they're walking off to. Was that supposed to be Winterfell off in the distance? Or
yeah. So there's this principal. I forget which bandit it was, but he used to promise, if you come out, I'll let you go and then massacre everybody. And it gets to be where you can only do that 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Once word gets around.
Once word gets around.
If you massacre everybody, you can do it quite a few times.
Right.
But if somebody gets away.
Yeah. Now, I will say, though, on the other hand, that it was the right thing to massacre these guys because they were diseased. Right? You're not going to just release diseased people out into the world. You got to massacre them. There you go.
I'm beginning to understand why this was Jason's favorite
This is my favorite scene.
And I'm pretty sure I've made my point.
Yes, exactly. All right.
And then we see Reek and Ramsay riding off with the Bolton army, and they're riding towards the front, which I think is partially to symbolize his legitimacy now. And then he says, "Come, Reek, I'll be needing a bath." And Theon looks terrified.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of how terrified Theon was when Ramsay bathed him. And it makes me wonder whether Ramsay may take some sexual liberties with Reek.
Of course.
Well, he took one big one. There's not much more liberty.
Oh no, it's freaky weird shit.
Incidentally, that was Theon's
his
name
bath means something else.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That was Theon's name for it before.
Right.
He probably
That's what you call it.
pokes at his wound.
Maybe it's the Lord's bath.
Yeah, he pokes at his wound.
Yeah. Still thinking that Theon.
Maybe he makes him drink the bath water.
I don't know, but Theon looked terrified.
He doesn't want to do bath. He doesn't want to do bath time. It's like
I don't want to do
Rosemary.
bath time with him either.
No.
Do you?
No.
Rubber Ducky and Ramsay?
It's like Sybil. Do you ever see Sybil?
Yeah.
With the mother, and she,
Yeah.
just all terrible
Yeah,
stuff happens. Well, the piano's playing. So is it to me now? Is it my?
Yep.
Okay, so we have a little more listener feedback before I get started.
Ooh.
Yeah, pick yourself a page and run with it. Either one, I don't care.
Okay, Von Carl Brown. Wow, the feel reminded me of the court scene, and a lot of story, then insane intensity at the end. Edge of my seat during the fight scene went from ecstatic to my holy shit. As a show watcher, I can say I really didn't see that coming. I did mostly enjoy the rest of the episode as it seemed the arcs are moving along, so I'm very interested where the last 2 episodes end up. Obviously, they have to deal with Tyrion's now pending execution and Mance Radar. I love that name, Mance Radar. Attack on the wall. And I am a little worried that we have experienced the best part of the season already. No. But I'm hoping I'm wrong. I would like the last couple of episodes to be exciting. I think I have a headache now.
Biggest fart the North has ever seen.
So as a show watcher, here's my prediction. Ilaria Sand gets some revenge. I am sure she learned a lot from Oberyn about poisons, etc. I think she strikes back at the Lannisters before departing King's Landing. But I could be way off base, or just hoping. And Stephanie Brown Anderson. Hated it.
Uh-oh.
I am the only person who didn't like the Arya laugh. It was all wrong to me. And perhaps it was the way it was acted. It just wasn't maniacal, in my humble opinion. She looked too happy, like she was just having a good-hearted laugh. See, I thought that was the point.
Yeah.
See, to
That's
me,
exactly how I would have.
to me, it didn't look maniacal either. It's something I do. It's like,
It's when you release tension.
you know, I can lay down in the ground in the street and wait to get run over because life is so bad, or I can laugh.
Right.
Because there's not shit you can do, and you just got to keep going. And so I laugh in moments like that too, just like, oh, of course, you know.
I am notorious for the amount of times that I laugh and make jokes during really awful situations.
Yeah.
It's become actually a problem with my friends.
It's become a problem on this cast.
I'm not having a problem with it.
Just teasing.
You're ENTP too, aren't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean that's how some
We're
people-
just
it's
nasty,
totally
foul
believable.
mouth people.
Right. And you can I don't
We have to provoke everything.
Totally believable that she's just like, oh man, fuck this.
Yeah.
Like seriously, are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me?
This is a joke.
Yeah.
Yep.
As I recall, there was the audience.
She
was
has
kind
more
of
to say.
Evenly split, but yes.
She looked too happy, like she was just having a good-hearted laugh. It wasn't the desperate laughter of one who is truly fucked and just losing it. Misandry Grey Room was the only part I liked as far as story or acting. That was gorgeous.
That was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So
I really wish the best for them. And the CGI at Moat Cailin was cool. It looked exactly like I pictured it. Wow, that's kind of a
Still
big thing.
feeling good for Ramsey and Reek, man. Those two kids.
Oh, jeez. Jackie Burgett.
They're gonna make it.
I'm with Stephanie Brown Anderson today. People would call Arya just a spunky girl who's making the best of a situation that was beyond her control. Okay. However, being the purist that I am in ye days of old, her little head might have been snapped off by those guards just for being disrespectful towards their queen, had she been a beloved queen. Here's what I think. The writers decided that after all Arya's been through, to suddenly find that her aunt died 3 days before, let's just make her laugh at the irony of it.
Yeah.
Their mistake was it came across to many of us as being incredulous that a young girl burst out in laughter. I bought it, but I believe a more
none of
believable.
those guards are gonna touch someone if they think she's Arya Stark.
No.
A more believable response might have been a look of disbelief and an outburst of tears. That's too no, because
I think this was
crumbling.
well acted.
Yeah.
I'm gonna defend Maisie Williams here.
Yeah.
She was awesome.
Yeah.
Y'all are wrong.
I think the writers transforming her into a cruel and heartless little mercenary was overkill. See, I didn't get that from it.
To me, I don't think it was supposed to be mercenary. It was just supposed to be like, psh, of course. Nothing fucking is working
Egret
out.
is mercenary, and I still love her.
She's cold as ice.
She's
that,
awesome.
That just makes her more awesome. No, I mean, as someone who literally would have done exactly the same thing, and I realize other people would have reacted differently.
Mhm.
There are people who smile and laugh, and
It's a
don't
tension.
cry, and
it's a tension breaker, and
total reaction.
I could
there are
totally
other
see
people
her
who would
doing
do it different
Yeah.
ways, but this is totally believable.
Yeah, we didn't want her to go crawl space.
Yeah, no,
Go
it's much
full-
too
full
early to go
Heisenberg.
crawl space. A lot more. I mean, dude, there's like 4 more seasons.
And sometimes
a lot more bad
when you
shit's gonna
have
happen to
the
Arya.
tension broken with humor, and then you go back to something poignant, it becomes more poignant again.
Right.
So I thought it was a really good choice.
You know,
fun.
just before the laugh, as they were approaching the gates of the Vale, I had a Carl going to Terminus flashback from The Walking Dead.
Yeah, a little bit.
And Carl, you know, like, who are we going to say we are? Because we aren't who we were before this all started.
Right.
And so I'm thinking, what, is Arya supposed to go back to being forced to wear dresses and sew?
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine Arya Arya
Yeah.
so did not fit into her, who she was supposed to be when she was that. How the hell would she ever be that again?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now, she's not going to become a
On
lady.
the other
No.
hand, she would fit in well with the moon door.
But
Right.
yeah, but on our site there are people who are defending it and people who are going at it. I think a lot of it just depends on how you react to that kind of laughter. Like you said, Alan, people take it wrong sometimes.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
and so it's natural to take it wrong potentially, or maybe we're the ones taking it wrong.
I think people intended or wanted it to be maniacal, like more of a psychotic break kind of thing.
They wanted more Joker.
And I don't think it was meant that be that
Well,
way.
yeah, I mean, I think everyone has a tendency to think about how they would react in that situation, and we tend to put that. In this case, in particular, it's very similar to how I would have
she's
reacted.
she's a total tough chick. She's not going to break down
literally
crying.
laughed before she did.
I'll bet
I started laughing with her. I said, "This is fun."
But there's going to be other situations where characters do things that I wouldn't have
The
done.
Hounded Arya Roadshow is not over after all.
Yeah. But like you see, like like Tyrion will do a lot of ironic laughter, but there's a lot of pain
and sarcasm.
In his face. But there's a lot of pain in his face when he does,
Right.
and so it's more readable. She didn't really relate that so much. And I will say, I did have trouble in the first watch through getting. It's like, is she laughing on her own behalf that her relatives are dying so easily, or on the Hound's behalf that he's never going to get paid? I initially wanted to make a choice, and I just realized it's both.
Yeah, I mean, when I first watched, I definitely went for her on her own behalf. But when I heard the Hound interpretation, I found that super humorous. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go with that one.
And
that's awesome.
And him having just said that, we're not going to have to walk much further. And it's like, now we're going to start on a whole nother trek. Where the hell are we going? Who knows?
I think it would be awesome if they came to a crossroads and they see like Don and Sally Draper coming one way.
Yeah, really.
And Rick and Carl Grimes coming the other way.
You know what? That would be awesome.
And everyone's
Arya would kill Rick, and we'd all be happier.
Yes, there you go.
And Michonne could be her new sword master.
There you go. Yeah, Michonne.
So this was, I think, the first time I've disagreed with Jackie.
Yeah.
Usually she's she has this great way of writing.
See, I was about to say, usually she's right.
Good one.
No, she usually does some really, really good synopsis.
Yeah, Jackie and Stephanie, good friends of the show.
Yeah, they're the best.
It feels like they've been around forever, and they've only been around for a few months.
They came in off of True Detective. We had that big, huge burst.
But it seems like they've been there forever now.
Who are these geniuses?
So involved.
Yes, they're awesome.
Yeah.
They're big treasures. Okay, Jay, speaking of another treasure, Jay Greenspan. Mm-hmm. I like the episode because I'm so invested in this universe and can watch it without being critical. I'm just an observer. That said, this season is getting exhausting.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it.
Try podcasting it.
We can lose anyone at any time in the most brutal way. But is it too much to ask to have a great character stick around a while when heads weren't exploding? I enjoyed the acting. The Stark daughters. I think they both did great. And Missandei, I'll put it this way. If you were to say, Jay, you can bed this woman, but in exchange you're going to have to die early, I would enter the negotiation in good faith.
How early are we talking about?
Jay wins comment.
Yes, I think Jay, I would not kick her out of bed for eating crackers.
No. Who's crackers?
What kind of crackers?
Which crackers? Are those my crackers?
Are they this nice little French Chez Vachet ones?
Really good. Little the cream-filled ones?
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, God, you too.
Okay, so me, I've got Arya and the Hound. Tyrion, I think we've covered Arya and the Hound. So I'm just going to move out of the undercard and into the title fight, baby. Title fight.
Ding, ding,
okay.
ding.
I got to believe that they knew what they were doing. When they had the Oberyn Mountain fight had not happened yet, and there was like 7 minutes left in the show.
Yes.
And fucking the ding. Everyone's like, I don't get the whole Beetle thing. I fucking love the Beetle speech. The Beetle speech was the biggest double DB screw you that we've seen all season. Because like, I'm going to make you sit here and listen to a Beetle speech. This is like C material. It was on the back. This is filler for episodes that are only like 42 minutes long, and we need another 5 minutes in there.
Yeah,
and
you're sitting there and you're afraid to go to the bathroom because you don't want to miss the fight. But I'm going to make you listen to the same. I think the point at which you know that this is true is when they do the chunk, 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 like 3 times.
Yeah, yeah. And so the
and the episode was still short.
Right. The episode is still short. So I think the Beatles speech touches the episode on multiple levels, but one of them is a meta commentary for sure. I've heard this elsewhere as well. So if I'm stepping on anyone's line, let me know. But that this is just the double DBs just banging us on the head and going, go, go, go. You're not going to get your fight until I say you get your fight.
Yep.
I also think it gives us, I do think, they might have picked a better speech, but I do think that it was nice to get a final moment with Jaime and Tyrion, because we know things are going to roll out chaotically from here on in, and there's not much chance that...
I generally like the theme of the whole... Like, I thought it was a fitting theme. I thought it was interesting. It badly needed an editor, but it could have been half as long. But other than that, like, I actually think the idea of, however you choose to interpret it, there's a bunch of, I think, ways to go, but the idea of sort of either man's intense need for mindless violence or the sort of randomness of the universe or whatever angle you go on it. Like, I thought it was fitting. I just was surprised that we just kept.
Right.
There was a lot of it.
Yeah, I think Tyrion's immediate theme was the caprice of the gods.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like they're gonna thunky you like a beetle, right? So you don't know if your guy's gonna win or lose.
Why do these things happen?
So then we have it's the bell tolls for Tyrion, and we come out to a very nice arena. I thought they did a pretty good job with the arena space. And there's Oberyn. He's drinking. He's got his little Darth Maul lance go. He's like, "Are you sure you shouldn't have thicker armor? What about a helmet? Are you drinking?" He's like, "Did you learn all of your strategy in the pits?" He's like pushes back at him. He's supremely confident that he's going to take down the mountain.
I thought the Dornish just had wine in their blood in their veins.
Yes, they drink wine all the time for everything.
Well,
that's why they taste so good.
Except for, I mean, realistically, you don't want to be drinking alcohol if you're going to get into a bladed fight because it thins your
With
blood.
a 400-pound, almost 7-foot man.
That we saw.
Sips.
It's been an hour. He's been there
Listen,
for a
the
while.
man is going into Mortal Kombat. Like, cut him a break.
Yeah, well, you don't want to bleed out when you're in Mortal Kombat.
He didn't.
If you can avoid it. He didn't. As a matter of fact, he didn't.
That was not his problem.
That wasn't his problem. And just awesome Inigo Montoya backflipping and and showboating and just he really had some confidence on this, and I thought they did a good job of matching what Oberyn was doing to what Bronn's tactic strategy was. So Bronn described the way that he might try to solve this problem, and then you see Oberyn do it for real. I thought that was really good.
My son was convinced it was the same actor as Inigo Montoya.
So,
oddly, the actor who played Inigo Montoya looks so much different than young Inigo Montoya that he's barely recognizable as Inigo Montoya.
Oh yeah,
Mandy Patinkin.
Mandy Patinkin. Yeah.
His face got much squarer.
He's got much more square and wide.
He's like, it's the same guy without the wig.
Yeah, he this time he'd play the giant probably.
Yes.
Yeah. So then, Oberyn's fighting the mountain, and good fan service they gave us the line, right? You raped her, you killed her children.
I mean, they did a brilliant job they did it line for line, practically word for word from the book. So they didn't screw that up, but they also, I thought, added just the cutaway reaction shots were just brilliant.
Yeah.
That was what, to me, made it even better.
Right.
Because now everyone's heard this. And it's and it's something that I didn't really pick up on in the book so much when I read it because it's just, it just didn't quite notice it. But on the show, they've made such an issue of it. Tywin's tactic to destroy his enemies is to have them raped to death, or raped into leaving, or whatever. I mean, he's very comfortable with brutal assaults.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
On a personal level that don't have to be that brutal. Yeah, in order to
he
prevail.
likes his dogs.
Yeah, and I think that was also part of it for me with the whole Bolton thing.
He's not that different than Ramsay.
He's not that different from Roose, at least. Maybe from Ramsay or Roose. I don't know.
I mean, he's more cold-blooded and calculating, but in his tactics, he refers to. I mean, it's not a character that was in a book in the show, but he kind of got combined into Locke. But he had Amory Lorch, he had the Mountain that he refers to as his dogs.
Right.
I mean, part of the reason why the entire war started is he just decided a good thing to do would be to set them on the Riverlands and have them rape and pillage their way for no real good reason.
Right.
The story that Tyrion tells in season 1 is still the worst thing that's ever been done on the show.
Yeah.
In having an entire regiment of men rape Tyrion's wife
and then have forced Tyrion to do it.
And then force Tyrion to do it, which I don't think was actually in the show, but
yeah.
Either way, it's there's a little
just
cult
awful.
of
That's just
Tywin
awful
because he seems like this super mastermind, but then you have to remember that there are places he goes he does not need to.
And it also he doesn't need to go there. And the thing with the Tyrion thing, I'm gonna get off on it completely, but it's like if you're disciplining your son, this is the wrong way to do it. Because you want to give it. There has to be carrot.
There's the understatement of the entire podcast.
Yes.
Right
there can't just be nothing but a regiment of stick.
Just the
Shirache stick.
There has to be some reason why he would choose your side, as opposed to just be bullied into it.
What's the upside for Tyrion here?
Right.
Get out of jail
Yeah.
and nothing.
Right.
Right. The
No.
downside
I
is death.
didn't mean this trial. I meant his first marriage.
Oh, his first marriage.
His first marriage. He was. I mean, there's no particular reason to torture this woman beyond any.
He was
you know,
teaching
more than you
Tyrion
have
a
to.
lesson that
Teaching
she
him a
was
lesson.
not worth Tyrion.
I guess
Right.
so. It's just awful.
That seems awful.
So then I have a little bit of audio here. I'm going to spare us all the beetle the speech, but here's Oberyn.
Sir Barristan.
Oh no, that's Barristan.
Wow.
Wow, I got the wrong one. And there we go. Okay, good.
Wait, are you dying? No, you can't die yet. You haven't confessed. Say it. Say her name. Elia Martell. You raped her. You killed her children. Elia Martell. Who gave you the order? Who gave you the order? Say her name! You raped her! You murdered her! You killed her children! Say it. Say her name. Say it!
Elia Martell. I killed her children. Then I raped her. Then I smashed her head in like this.
Squishy. Now in the book, it's the same words, but he says it again and again and again to the point where you're just like ready. As a reader, you're ready to jump out of your skin because you've heard it so many times. It's
Well,
like,
and then that was when you had him down on the
Attention.
ground. He said it a couple times ahead of that as well.
Mhm.
You know. But what I wanted to get to, on the reason I brought that clip in is, do you think he monologued himself into death, or was the mountain playing him the whole time and he never really had a shot? Because the
When you got a
mountain's
man
lying
down-
there prone and down.
when you got a man down, you need to finish him up before he gets back up.
Well,
finish him off.
we all know that, but the question
Like
is,
a
if he
little
had,
column A, little column B.
if he had tried to go straight for the mountain, would he have gotten the leg sweep? You know, or was the mountain unconscious for
I think
30
there's
seconds?
I think there's probably a way to approach him that doesn't involve your legs being near his hand.
Yeah, that was
I
not
mean, if
smart.
he had come from him from around his legs, he might have gotten fought off, but he probably wouldn't have gotten pulled to the ground. Right. So there was probably a way to get at it.
I went around the other end and
He
stabbed
was-
him in the head.
And he was obviously suckering him a little bit with the
Right.
speed at which he moved.
He was ready to go. He
Yes.
didn't just wake up, you know, and say, "Oh, I better start swatting."
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and he's probably just catching his breath.
yeah. So poor Oberyn, poor Tyrion.
I mean,
sentenced
this
to death.
was my Red Wedding when I was reading the books.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
everyone else got upset about the Red Wedding. This was my just
Because
I
we can't care
believe
about
that's
Rob
the
as much as we
no
care
one
about.
cared about Rob.
Nobody cared about
Just no. I mean, I cared a little bit
Everyone
about,
cared about Oberyn.
Yes.
but everyone loves Oberyn, even if he's not quite so shiny and bright in reading form. And you get such a hatred built up of Tywin and his actions in the mountain,
Right.
such a
Yeah.
horrible person, and you have Tyrion on the other side, who by this time is
And you're
become your
protective of
favorite
Tyrion.
character, and you're just like, this is gonna work, this is gonna work, this is gonna work, and then it's just, like it just like in the show, it just comes out of nowhere, and you're like, no.
Yep.
But yeah, I thought they did a great job. Like I said, I think the reaction shots were fantastic.
Ilaria was
Jamie, her scream should win her an Emmy nomination just on the screen.
and just the horror on her
It was
face.
fantastic. But I loved watching
Yeah.
Jamie. Jamie was great during the whole thing.
Yeah.
Him sort of couldn't tell how much he was rooting for Tyrion and how much he was like, oh man, that Oberyn's a good fighter.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is some good entertainment.
He's a fan of the form, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Oberyn had a shot at the mountain. I actually think that the mountain calculated Oberyn would start monologuing. I think he did. Because he had been.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
and
I
he's
mean,
like,
he
I'm going to
monologued
lie
for a second.
still. I'm going to play possum and get this guy close to me because he's got that lance. And, I'm going to take the shot that he's not going to put in my head.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like I don't watch a lot of it, but it's kind of like mixed martial arts, right?
Right.
Like everyone loves the jumpy guy running around, but like 90% of the times it ends with like the really strong guy putting somebody in a chokehold.
Right.
It's like once you get on the ground, like,
It's once your legs are in the air, it's over.
Oh, but the Tyrion line, you know, once we're all on the ground, it doesn't matter. Or we're on our backs, and he's
size
like,
doesn't matter.
Size doesn't matter when you're on your back, and Tyrion says, "Thank the gods." Love
All right.
Tyrion.
Well, we got one
love
more.
You too, doggy Tyrion.
Little Tyrion dog is here. We got one more block of listener feedback, and then we can ride this puppy home.
And first we have Susan Monk from Geek Girl Soup. You can follow her there.
Yep.
She's got an active Facebook page, and she's with us and all over the place, and she gets into some really great conventions, so I definitely want to support her. During the Ramsay roast scene, all I was thinking about was the difficulty of recording clear sound outdoors in the wind.
Yep.
Impossible.
Impossible.
Podcasting and filmmaking make you think about these things. Of course, what happened was that they recorded the dialogue in a quiet, soundproofed studio and mixed it with the outdoor sound. Tougher than it seems. This was a totally different Sansa. As Peta says, the last time I saw you, you were just a child. Is she the Stockholm Syndrome Sansa, or is she trying to play in the big leads now? Oh, she's trying to play in the big leads.
She's big leads Sansa.
She's grown up. She's going to survive.
She's using her ass.
She's going into survival mode.
At least she's playing the big leagues.
But
see
definitely
if she
she's playing it. She's being
survives.
being proactive.
Well, she has moved on up to the east side.
She has. Finally getting herself a piece of the pie.
That's right.
Pie.
Ooh, the pie.
God, you guys.
Seriously, where did the Tyrells go? I was just thinking. I mean, partially because
they're
just gone.
Well, because Marjorie has to be over in the corner being awkward because I know that he's totally innocent.
Like they had that little plot line, and then it just died. And
you
know, and again, not to go too far down the road, but over in one of the subplots in the books is that the Martells and Oberyn in particular, the Tyrells hate Oberyn,
right?
Because he crippled a brother of Loras that doesn't exist in Marjorie, that doesn't seem to exist in the show. But like, they're gone.
They're gone. The big thing is that Marjorie is a very uncomfortable character right now. So unless they're going to do something where she has some maneuver here, she's allowing an innocent person to be.
Jason, I miss her.
We all miss Marjorie. We all love Marjorie.
All the men miss Marjorie.
All the gods of kiss and wine.
If you can go all over Pedro Pascal, I can.
But he's dead.
Have you guys seen Seth Rogen in Snoop Dogg recap?
Yes.
I think it was episode 7.
I'm the one to put that up. It was hysterical.
Peter.
The worst part of that,
the midget and the whore.
The worst part of that is Seth Rogen's laugh, which is atrocious.
Yes.
It's pretty funny.
The best part of that is
Seth
the
Rogen
fact that
is so
Snoop
hot.
Dogg could easily hang on any podcast about Game of Thrones.
Yes.
And like, he was laying down some shit. He
would have been
He was
awesome.
paying attention.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
He's a watcher.
We should see if we should get
the
Snoop.
dog and the hound.
There you go.
Let me finish Susan Monk.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Finish her. Finish her.
I'm going to say some
Mortal
sorry out of you.
Kombat.
This was totally different Sansa. Okay, last time What else could Arya do but laugh? Cool that she's now traveling companion instead of hostage. I see Robin dying some kind of accident soon after leaving the nest. The Mountain versus the Viper was amazing, except I couldn't watch the last bit.
Oh.
You've got to double tap. I wonder if Oberyn's head made the same sound as the Beatles' heads. Shudder. Now I should go start writing my book about morons. And someone new, Kathy Fleming Gandhi. Just as the fight began between the Mountain and the Viper, I said to my man, I always thought the Hound would be the one to kill the Mountain. I was certain the Viper would win. Maybe my certainty sprung from my sense that the Mountain deserved to die, maybe because Prince Oberyn would have been justified in killing him, a righteous murder, and maybe because Tyrion always survives, thankfully against amazing odds. I am beyond sad. I will not sleep until the Mountain is gone. He, the psychopath, sociopaths, represent everything that is foul and evil in this world, and every world. And Cersei is in that category too, as was Joffrey.
Hey.
Drunk Cersei.
Drunk Cersei is just fine. You can have sober Cersei.
I am so incredibly sad. What now? And Bronn ever coming back, or is he gone for good? I've lost so many people I love in that realm that I'll be grieving for a very long time. On a lighter note, it was fun to watch Arya make the Hound laugh with her murderous plans. Has he ever smiled before that? I like this chick.
I think Susan has a little hidden inner Arya.
No, this is Kathy Fleming.
Oh, Kathy. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
No,
But I still think Susan has an inner Arya.
I think we've got ourselves some
but I
fresh new
enjoy
fun meat.
the juxtaposition of on a lighter note.
Yes.
in anything Game of Thrones.
Yes.
That was
She's
on a lighter
awesome.
note. I've lost all faith in humanity, but on a lighter note.
Hannah Lovelace Paul. Oberyn's speech making is what got him killed, but I don't think it was all hubris and vanity that fueled it. I think he needed the confession so he could continue his plan of revenge. He wanted to fry the big fish that gave the orders, and he needed the confession in order to attempt that. He did lose his head, so to speak, and let victory cloud his judgment, but I think he had a plan, and the confession in front of the whole kingdom was part of it. But it didn't get to happen.
No,
it didn't get to happen. Well, if you want to hear about what might happen.
Oh, I have an update on the strap-on question.
Oh, yes, we did review the strap-on.
Oh God, how we can do an episode without strap-on?
Well, this was
two casts ago.
Was it 2 casts ago?
It was 2 casts ago.
The cast that shall not be named.
This is going to be pretty funny. This is good. I think you weren't here for this one.
No, I was
Were you
here
here?
for the strap-on.
He wasn't here for the last one.
So, Jason was watching the clip.
Right.
And the clip that he was watching on his laptop.
With Ramsay and his girlfriend.
Yes. He thought
Miranda?
he saw more there. There is no more.
There is no more. I saw her elbow, and it looked like his knee to me.
Yes.
On the video.
And he thought his legs were spread open.
They're
No,
not.
it's her
So-
elbow.
So
We're all-
basically, we took like a 45-minute digression on strap-ons.
Yes.
For no good reason.
There's no proof that's
There's
not
always a good
There's
reason
always
to
a
talk
good
about
reason to
strap-ons.
I'm
sure we've helped
hugely
somebody.
proud of us, and I'm glad we did.
I'm sure we helped
Good
somebody
hustle,
in the
good
audience.
hustle team.
Good hustle, yeah.
Good meeting.
Yeah. That was me on every sports team. I got Mr. Hustle. No talent.
Good meeting, everybody. Strap-on meeting. It's not going to be a strap-on meeting.
Be a strap-off meeting.
Oh man. Oh well, if you so I realize that a lot of you out there are very distraught at the loss of Oberyn and what's going to happen with Tyrion, and oh my God, of course the show is going to be completely nothing but depression and drudgery for the next 4 years. It will be. But if you can't stand it and you got to be spoiled and you haven't been spoiled, we'll have a short spoiler section after this to discuss a couple of closing elements for the season. So after you hear the music, you hear music play out. If you don't want to be spoiled, you want to be sullied. You want to
If you want to be cut.
If you want to be, you want your beans and franks to go conveniently missing. then. Drop off right then.
Now everybody wants to watch.
Now everyone
Way to sell it, Jason.
So, unless there's anything else, until next week, you'll never see her alone again. Thing for spoilers for myself. Well, just two things. Let's go. They're both related to Tyrion. So first is the Mountain's going to be dying some hideous death. So far, from what I've seen in the books, they just no one actually sees it.
Oh, you haven't gotten to Ungregor yet?
Ungregor?
You haven't gotten to Ungregor?
I'm not gonna. You know exactly where I am. I'm 20% in on the.
I know.
Last.
Go ahead.
All right, fine. No. So there's an undead Gregor.
So yes, the Mountain dies this horrific death because, and they definitely poisoned him because they took very careful care to show the assistant wiping the blade with something and with like gloves on, right?
Yeah.
So obviously they poison him. He dies this horrific death, and then they give lots of hints that the really creepy maester that cut off Jaime's hand, or
Qyburn.
That dude who got thrown out
Nazi
of the
guy.
maesters for like his experiments on like dying bodies or the living dead.
But the one that Cersei lets touch her naked.
Essentially, he starts like putting together body parts and build. Essentially, he takes the Mountain's body and creates a. I mean, none of this is completely confirmed, but it's pretty obvious. He takes the Mountain's body and he creates a
golem.
Someone called Sir Robert Strong, that doesn't take his helmet off, and he's this giant knight that's named to the Kingsguard. And when Cersei gets, again, further Cersei gets in trouble, she wants him named to the Kingsguard and that sort of thing. So he becomes this undead version of Gregor.
Awesome.
Yes.
Which would be Gregor.
Which would be there will be no noticeable difference, especially since the actor they chose for this, literally, if you notice, they never had him. I think they had him say one word where it looked like he was talking.
Right.
Because if you've ever heard him talk, he's not the guy.
The only problem with this actor is I do not buy that he is older than the Hound.
No.
Yeah, not by a long shot. The Hound looks like he's about a decade older.
But nor does Tyrion look 9 years younger than his siblings.
No, but I think we have a Tyrion here who's been retconned to be 4 years younger than his siblings,
or 2 or whatever.
And his siblings are 40,
Right.
not 35.
Right.
So there's they've moved everybody up a little bit.
Right.
Okay, and then and I guess the other question I have is, do we think Tywin's going to make it out of the season?
No.
No, I think
You
finale.
think you're killing him in the finale?
That's going to be our last 3 minutes of the finale.
Okay.
Choppy, or squishy?
Crossbow bolts to the bowel.
While sitting on the chamber pot.
Yes, while sitting
Which
on
leads
the pot.
to my spoiler part, but for the
Right.
short part.
So
There will be at least
here's my okay. I have a suggestion. This is the thing here, and maybe they will. Maybe I think you're probably right, but it feels to me like because he's got to kill Shay along with that is a pretty heavy downer for the end of the season.
Yes.
It's not a downer if you're rooting for Tyrion.
Right. So I mean,
I was cheering for Tywin to go down.
I could see them cutting to black on Varys getting Tyrion out of his cell, and we end on this hopeful note of he's escaping into the walls and he's going to get away.
I think
and we come in at the beginning of next season with the death of Tywin.
But that would be happy.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, maybe
so
not.
I actually think there's a good chance we end on. I don't know if it will be Brienne and Pod. It felt like it when they were actually moving that plot line forward, but now I don't know.
Right.
But I think there's actually a pretty good chance they're going to finish it like the book, but just with an accelerated standpoint, where the book actually ends with the introduction of Lady Stoneheart.
Right.
Right.
Which in the book is...
So we got a new woman coming?
No, it's an old woman. So it's a...
new character.
Undead Catelyn.
So Catelyn in the book...
Oh, the Catelyn when she comes back.
She
yes.
washes up on the shore,
Right.
and Thoros finds her, and...
Brings her back with the...
Well, Beric brings her back, but Beric dies in bringing her back. I think.
Right,
I forget Thoros.
I know how that one goes. So Beric Dondarrion finds her, and he really wants to bring her back, and he's trying to get Thoros to do it, and he's like, she's been gone too long, she's been in the river too long, you can't, no, we can't go there. And Beric's like, fuck it, I'll do it myself. And in bringing her back, he loses his life for the final time.
Right.
So Beric actually brings her back himself. And she has like severed windpipes, so the times that she does speak, she has to like kind of stick her
and it's like a
vocal
clack,
cords
clack,
together
clack,
or something. It's
that
it's
sort of
gross.
thing. And in the epilogue of a Storm of Swords, it's a random Frey who is trying to pay.
Right.
The Beric's group has caught another Frey captive, and he's trying to pay ransom. So he's sent to pay ransom. And he comes up and he's like about to pay ransom, and he looks up and the Frey he's supposed to ransom is already like hanging from a tree.
Right.
And they basically are stringing him up, and like the last thing he sees is like basically like Catelyn taking her hood off, and you see it's Catelyn.
See, I think that could be an awesome final shot.
Right. At the same time, there's also the scene in which you probably haven't gotten to, but Brienne and Pod are eventually captured by them.
No, they just met
and
in my thing.
Caitlin is less than pleased to see Brienne. So there becomes a dynamic there.
That's
that they can
interesting.
she believes
She's not the
betrayed
same
her.
Catelyn.
Right.
She's a little more thirsty for vengeance than you might
She's
expect.
a little bit more like drunk Cersei now?
No, she's a little more like
zombie Arya.
Like one thing on her mind, which is killing as many people who fucked with her family as possible.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's not really a person anymore.
Okay.
She's like,
just like a vengeance machine.
She's a
basically
she
vengeance
would be
machine.
a revenant.
A revenant. There you go.
There you go.
Well, we always go to Jason for all our undead needs.
Exactly. A revenant is an ordinary person who comes back to life with a particular purpose, usually revenge.
Wow.
Yes.
Excellent.
There you go.
Now, I could see them possibly ending with Tyrion going up to the Hand of the Tower and we could hear Shay or something, and we don't see what happens, and then Lady Stoneheart, and then not knowing.
Remember that we have to wait for like 9 months before we get.
I know.
Also,
again.
actor contracts.
True.
They're gonna like the only person that they kept on to like in a weird dynamic because it would have felt too rushed was Joffrey, but like they're gonna just. You know what? They're not going to want to call back Sybil Keely and Charles Dance like next season.
They might have it shot.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
I did hear that there were some things
that
they shot that seemed to maybe have moved out of the season. So
Well, one, they would need Charles Dance lying in state, stinking up the place.
Yeah, that's pretty easy to shoot.
Again, they can do. They just need a head mask for him. It's so tough to lie still while people are acting.
Although they did that with Joffrey. It was
with the stones.
him lying still.
Oh, they did.
They talked
with the
about
stones
how
on
he
the
was
eyes.
sitting there
Remember?
while they were
He
acting
said
around
he
him.
was sleeping.
Yeah, he was just like, that was my last day of shooting. Like,
awesome. They saved themselves a dummy head. So okay, yeah, I think you make a good case, but I wouldn't be surprised if they slipped the death of Tywin Lannister.
They kept it hopeful.
If they kept it, well, the death of Tywin's very hopeful, but because it's going to involve the death of Shay, I think that's something that we might open.
Which is going to be pretty brutal.
We might open the season with and not leave people with this. I can't. I have trouble believing that they're going to leave people with a question in their mind as to whether they support Tyrion, right? For 10 months, and I think showing him killing Shay is going to do that, right? Without a chance to move his story forward after that. But the idea of seeing him escape out a tunnel that Varys opens up for him, and he might get away. That's 10 months of false hope, baby. That's 10 months of false hope.
I thought you were just a little bit of a pansy there, not wanting to crush people, but now I realize. You wanted to build them up even more.
Oh, I want to build them up even more. Oh,
So
he
you
gets
can
away,
open the next season
and he gets
with
his
this,
revenge. He comes back around. He proves his innocence, and the gods rain gold and tits and wine on him all night, baby. Oh yeah, he solves his dad's financial problems, and his father everything happens great for him after this. All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Anything else?
Oh, I have one.
You have more? Okay.
Go ahead. Don.
So the
I'll
thing
you
that's
first.
bothering me the most is the characters and the actors basically keep spoiling things in ways. So like the Littlefinger saying people die in their chamber pot.
Fantastic! That's not spoiling. That's
I don't.
No one's gonna pick that
and
up.
then the pictures of
Danielle did.
And the
She
pictures
read
of
the books.
Okay, this is my name correction of the week. It is Lena Headey. There is no L in her last name anywhere.
Right.
Lena Headey.
Lena Headey.
So the pictures of Lena
Does she give good Headey?
and Pedro Pascal. We shall see. Of her,
gonna
like,
get to see?
acting like she's poking his eyes out, and then there's also the picture she put on her Twitter or Instagram or whatever of the heart-shaped stone. It's to me, it's getting corny. It's taking away from the seriousness of the plot.
Well,
it's making a joke of it to me.
There's the thing that we all have to remember, which is that the actors on this show,
I need the joke.
they don't give a shit about the story.
Right.
Like Dinklage just says, I haven't read the books, I don't know what happens, I don't give a
Right.
shit, I don't know. You tell me my lines, you point me in the direction, you give me my motivation, and you
Right.
get what you want. And his argument was that you're more genuine than if you've read the book and you know where everything's
You don't
gonna
want to be
go.
arguing with the director about
You
how
want
it's
to be,
not like the book.
yeah. He's like, I just can't be a fan of the
is
story. I have
What
to.
is interesting, I think, is how like social media and things like that have.
Yeah.
People are getting a view into how these sausage is made, whether they like it or not. All
Right.
the interviews, all the social media, like none of this would have, like the conversations, even with the directors, would have never come out 5 years ago.
Right, right. I think it's like getting when your mom gets on Facebook. It's just a risk. You've entered into a world of risk as soon as you start looking at social media.
Going on social media, whatever, you're asking for it.
Yeah.
But this, I don't know. It's bugging me.
I don't know. I think that to me, the people who are heavy spoiler queens, who are unsullied, it just feels like you have to stay off of Facebook. I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry that you can't have internet.
Right. Or if you know you can't watch the episode for a day, stay off for a fucking day.
Yeah, it's only
so that you don't have to.
It's only 10 weeks out of the year.
Nail us to the cross for talking when you didn't watch it on time.
And most people aren't trying to be dicks about things.
And people have actually they've kept things pretty quiet.
Incredibly quiet.
The Red Wedding was pretty quiet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Get that one nice and quiet.
Book readers have been pretty good about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few asswipes out there, but you always get that.
But the thing is, I would say because Xion said, "Oh, that's not a spoiler." It's a spoiler if you know it's a spoiler. If you don't know, because like if you hear, Peter Baylor said that people die in their chamber pots. Oh, that great! You just ruined it for me. Well, who are we talking about? I have no idea what you're bringing up.
Right.
And it's not apropos of any actual information he has. It's just foreshadowing.
But now on
You know.
when somebody goes to rewatch all of the season, assuming Tywin's death happens
But
this
they'll know,
season,
and they'll think
then
it's
it's
cool.
like bing, bing, bing. I don't know.
Well, then it becomes foreshadowing. See, it works better once you know.
To me,
then you're like,
it's-
aha. Yeah, there's
it's Dan and Day, whatever the D's,
The double
D's,
DBs.
B's, whatever, trying to be cute, and it's like just do your job. You don't need to be cute.
You had one job.
Yeah.
Weiss, you had one job.
I will point out that the Red Wedding is like foretold in prophecy at least 4 times in the books, and no one picks it. Like, people know something bad is going to happen, but no one picked it up. But you go back and you read it, and you're like, oh, there it is. Oh, there it is again. Oh, again.
And that's
like, it's smacking me across the face. And either Martin does a very good job of like the super obscure, and then the kind of obscure, and then I'm going to smack you across the face with it.
Right.
Like, and you almost never pick up the first one. And
Right.
like 10% of the population picks up the second one, and then the last one's like, "Hey, dumbass, like, catch up."
Everyone gets it.
Right.
So you can read it on multiple levels.
But then when you reread it,
and
it's
that's part of the joy of rereading is picking up the foreshadowing.
Yes.
And things that you know that didn't spoil for you. When
Right,
you
they
read it.
intertwine.
You had
My little spoiler alert is actually more of a. I think we put it on the Facebook page. I don't think we talked about it on here, but some of the casting call for next season leaked out, and a lot of people who have read ahead were a little worried that a lot of storylines were going to get chopped away, and the casting call was very, very heavy on Dorne.
I was really
So-
surprised. I didn't know they were going to do all that.
Yeah, there were a lot of people that after Oberyn died, they're like, "Well, I guess we'll never hear about Dorne again." I think someone.
Oh no, I said let's go to Dorne because I know we're going.
Like,
So
I didn't
we're-
think the sand
we're-
snakes would ever be introduced.
Right, there are 3 sand stakes. The
8.
Well, but there are 3 cast.
Got it.
There are 3 in the casting call. The bodyguard of Doran Martell, who's Oberyn's father,
Right.
and the Prince of Dorne has been cast. He's one of the point of view characters in the book, Arya Hota.
Wait, isn't Dorne his older brother?
No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
you're
older
absolutely
brother.
right. Yes, Doran is Oberyn's older brother.
So we're Dorning it up. Well, Tyrion's
Yeah.
in Dorne, right? Tyrion goes to Dorne.
Tyrion does not
No.
go to
It goes to where is he? Where's he on the?
goes
He's on the river.
No, Dornish
Oh,
women
he's
is the
in-
funniest thing he's ever eaten.
He's
Right.
He's on the Rhine, and the reason why you're connecting that to Dorne is he's on a river of abandoned civilizations.
Right.
These civilizations were like a very ancient sort of live and let live kind of civilization that the Targaryens eventually started encroaching. They had a big war. The Targaryens, because they have dragons.
Right.
Not the Targaryens, sorry, the Valerians.
Right.
The Targaryens were just one family of the Valerians. One of the groups of this was led by a princess named Nymeria, and she took her people and led them across to Dorne. So the inhabitants of Dorne are half indigenous Dornish, whatever they were,
Right.
and their king married the Roynish that came over from Essos.
So they're
And
kind of
they're a blended culture of these two cultures, one migratory that came over rather peacefully.
Okay.
They came, they settled, they intermarried, and that's why
Right.
Dorne's a little different.
That makes sense. But he's heading to Marine, Astapor, Yunkai, that stuff
Yes.
to hook up with Danny because
But
that's his best shot.
His travels along the river, which we're reading now,
Goes
are
to Pintos
basically
first, right?
in the ancestral home of half of the ethnic history of the Dornish.
So that because there's a lot of Dornish stuff coming in.
Well, they use the Rhoyne and
Right,
the Rhoyner,
right.
and they use that a lot for the Dornish.
I want to go to Dorne.
Yeah,
Who doesn't want to go to Dorne?
Portugal and Spain and Dorne.
basically
Okay, cool. Anything else for spoilers or closing it out for next week? 2 more episodes for the season.
Dun, 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 dun.
Then we close down.
Can't believe it's just 2 left.
Just 2 left. I can't believe how much book they're burning through. But that's
Right.
their, that's
They
their
were moving
problem.
really fast, and then they slowed down.
Yeah.
Right. It kind of felt like Danny and Brienne were going to go like full on through book 4 or book 5.
Evidently,
in Danny's
Danny
case.
don't have to move that story at all.
Well, no, because it started to go down that road, and then it just dead stopped.
It just dead stops.
I got one more spoilery thing.
Okay.
There's supposed to be a Sansa rape coming up, and that is totally off the books because her storyline is already ended from the books.
Well, I
for the
believe they
most part.
said there was an attempted rape of a known character, and a lot of people put it on Sansa. I don't know.
No,
if
there's
the-
an actual article saying that her parents
came to the set.
Parents came to the set. Were sitting between.
Oh, but is that old?
The two
Because
DBs.
There was an attempted rape back in like season 2, and she
No,
talked about it.
no. The article refers to her being 18 years old now,
Right.
Interesting.
and she just turned 18.
Okay.
And her parents are like, "Oh, no big deal. She loves doing this stuff."
She
And,
loves rape scenes.
And they said that they'll make it look like almost like ballet. They'll make it look so beautiful. What rape scene has anything to do with ballet?
I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean,
I thought we were getting a nice little diet
I
from the
would
raping.
imagine that for TV they could do it in a way that makes her feel safe and okay
Right.
about it and things like that. It's
Yeah,
not,
but no,
it
it's-
doesn't have to be the accused. We don't have to really get into the like the heavy
It's definitely
deal.
a recent spoiler.
Okay, so maybe there should be bad luck coming for Sansa then. All right. Well, okay. Until next week, 2 more episodes. All right.
Maybe Robin will forcibly breastfeed her.
Oh, Robin.
That would be the comical.
Just go after.
Okay, I'm cutting it now. I'm cutting it now. Good night, everybody.
Quick, out.